The Gettysburg Address. Abraham Lincoln left a beautiful summary of why so many had to die in this terrible war. He wrote it a year and a half before the war ended. In 1863, thousands of Americans had been killed at Gettysburg, so the battlefield was made into a national cemetery to honor them. On November 19, 1863, about 15,000 people gathered for the ceremony to establish the cemetery. At this event, President Lincoln gave what has become one of America's most famous speeches. Lincoln's speech, now known as the Gettysburg Address, began with the words, "Fourscore and 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth upon this continent a new nation. A score is 20. Lincoln was reminding people that it had been 87 years since the Declaration of Independence. The fight was about preserving the nation and about self-government. In the address, Lincoln also praised the soldiers who had given their lives to keep the dream of America alive. It reminded Americans that there was still more work to be done, but also why the work was important. We here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth." Abraham Lincoln, from the Gettysburg Address. 6. Underline the words in this excerpt that describe democracy. A terrible loss for the nation. Friday evening, April 14, 1865, President Lincoln and his wife Mary attended a play at Ford's Theater. During the play, the audience was surprised to hear a gunshot. This was followed by Mary Lincoln's screams. President Lincoln had been shot. The bullet had entered the back of the president's head, and he was unconscious. He died a few hours later, on the morning of April 15. Lincoln was assassinated, or murdered for political reasons, by John Wilkes Booth, a 26-year-old actor who supported the Confederacy. Booth escaped from the theater, but federal troops found him later in a Virginia barn. He refused to surrender. The soldiers shot and killed him. Booth had not worked alone, and Lincoln was not the only target. The whole group of plotters was captured, tried, and hanged. A funeral train took Lincoln's body to his hometown of Springfield, Illinois, to be buried. People paid their respects along the route as the train traveled from Washington to Springfield. It was a tragic loss for the nation. But before he died, Lincoln had achieved his goal. He had saved the Union. Got it? 7. Main idea and details. Fill in the missing details that support the main idea. 8. Explain how not punishing the South relates to the Union's reason for fighting. 9. Describe how Memorial Day came to be celebrated.